All right, so since several of you, so many of you, asked for information on cleaning rough out saddles, apparently this is an issue. So I'm all for people keeping saddles clean. So I'm going to show you a little bit on how I do it. I'm sure there's others that do it a different way, but they didn't offer to help. So here I am doing what I do. I do this professionally. I have a business, Diamond J&A. I do custom leather stuff, saddle restoration. And so here we go. Let me show you the tools that I use when I do this. There's 3 tools that I use for cleaning suede seats and rough out. For nubuck, I do something completely different. For those of you that don't know, nubuck is when you've got the flesh side, which is the rough side, on the back, and then on the front, instead of the smooth grain side, which is what this is. This is the grain side that you usually see on non-rough out saddles. But if that's kind of fuzzed up too, that's not rough out. That's actually called nubuck, where they've taken the sandpaper and rubbed the grain on the saddle, which actually weakens the leather. I personally tell my friends, you be leery of nubuck saddles because the leather strength, the strength of leather, the integrity is going to be less than what it is if it's like this or a standard saddle. Anyway, so onto the tools. These are the 3 tools that I use. I use a nylon mud brush for horse. I like it because the bristles are relatively stiff. It gets a good scrub on. As you can see, some of the dust coming off because I started cleaning the other side of the saddle. I use this for cleaning the dust out of the seat as well as the rough out. This is the main player right here. This is the wire brush. You can get this at any hardware store. This particular one I like because it's small. It's got a nice little curve to it. I don't like the big cheap wooden ones because to me they take up too much space. This guy is little and it just kind of gets into all the little curves and stuff real easy, as you can see. I use the heck out of it. Time for a new one. It's seen a lot of miles. My other favorite is this one's stainless, but there's also brass. It's just a little brush, maybe 7 inches or so long. I'm a girl, I don't measure, but it's not very long. See, what is that, 7 inches, 8 inches? Guys, feel free. Okay, don't lie, because we know you will. Anyway, sometimes the copper ones work better, sometimes, or not copper, brass, and sometimes the stainless ones. I have both, and I use the hell out of them. I go through a lot of these. I like them because they can get up into small spots, like if you look here on this saddle. I'll get closer. You can see that they've got the scallop cut right here, and when you're hitting it with one of these, you don't want to get up here on the tooling and ruin it. So if you get down in here, you can get real close without damaging your tooling, which, you know, who wants to do that, right? So, all right, let's get down to the deal. So I'm going to set these here aside. I'm going to grab my little handy dandy. Now you'll see here, this is rough out, okay, and it's slick and it's matted down. Now, once you make this rough again, you're going to stick to that seat like glue. There's going to be no movement. At least once it mats down, there's movement. So if you like a slidey seat where you don't stick, doing this is going to piss you off or piss off your clients. You always got to talk to people if you're doing this for people. I'll show you kind of how to do the suede seats. Now the difference between the rough out and the suede is your suede's really thin. You only get a couple good cleanings on this. So if it's only a little bit messy, try to use other means than the wire brush. Okay, don't use the McNasty to do the suede seats because you'll tear up a seat. All right, it takes a lot more to tear this up. So with this, it's better to do 10 strokes with medium pressure than 2 or 3 strokes with hard pressure. If you're gonna rush through this, don't do it because you're gonna screw something up. So usually how I start is I'll go in a circle. I'm probably putting about, I don't know, 5-6 pounds of pressure, about as much as you would use, as much strength as you would use to push a full coffee can of grain across the table. So I usually go in one direction, and then I'll switch it up and go in the other direction. Then I'll do a little up and down, and then a little side to side, just until you start to see it look a little bit different from the rest of the saddle. See how this is really light now, and this is darker. So this is winning right here. So if you look here, you'll see that there's a spot where the bristles weren't quite touching. So change the angle of the handle of the brush. This is usually a spot you got to work on because the surface is different from everything else. It's just a little concave because of what all is underneath. So again, do some circles. If you're pressing hard and your arm is getting tired, you're doing it wrong. So do about, I don't know, 10, 12, 15 or so. Just kind of eyeball it, and then when you see it doing good, take it the other way, and then a little up and down, a little more side to side. Basically what you're doing is you're breaking up everything that got matted down, and you're getting it brought up. Now if you look here, see how it's looking? Pretty cool, huh? If you look here, there's gum or tar or boogers or God only knows what right here. See this? Sometimes you can scrub it out if you're having a hard time. Get a little rubbing alcohol on a terry cloth, rub that spot and see if you can't get in there and break it loose. Sometimes if I need a little more scrub power, I will put my fingers on either side and hold the bristles straighter so they don't flare out. So remember not to press down hard at all when you're doing this. All you're doing is making sure that they stay straight. And once you see that stain start to disappear, stop with the fingers. See? It's starting to go away. Now you can't clean this with saddle oil or saddle soap or Lexol or Pine Cleaner, Murphy's oil soap, whatever the heck your nut jobs use. You can't really put any water to it. You can, but it's probably going to mat back down. There have been extreme cases where I did clean some really bad stuff off of the saddle. I did use a little soap, but you have to make sure you clean it all off. Again, here's my little guy. Now I'm going to get up here on these scallops. Should probably wear a mask when you do this, by the way. Just kind of give it an all over with this little guy. Now, that's pretty good to me. The client will be happy with this. And you're sitting here going, but Adrienne, what do you do to clean it? All you do to clean this, you take this brush and you knock this all over the carpet and hope that you are the person that cleans the house so nobody climbs your ass. And then you start scrubbing back and forth. Can you see all that dust coming off? Some of that is the stuff that you've just scraped up. A lot of that is dirt. Now you can take a brush just like this, and in between rides, when you're done riding, take a few minutes, and go back over your seat, go back over this, break up anything that that you may have accrued while you're bucking and bouncing, and just work on it until the dust stops going. Once the dust stops going, it's clean. And if you look, that spot's still here. See it? I mean, it's nowhere near what it was. For me, for my purposes, I will work on that just a little bit more. I'll get that wire brush and break into there just some more, and it'll be gone. But that's the basics for cleaning up rough out saddle. Now the only other thing that I want to recommend to you is in the case of this saddle. See how this is a trophy saddle? You take this little bad boy, all right, and what you're going to do is you're actually going to clean these areas here, here, all around here. You're going to clean all of that. So you're going to try not, you're going to hardly rub hard because you don't want to scrape down into here. You're still going to take some of the paint off, and that's okay. Don't panic. Just right now what you're trying to do is restore the nap and clean the saddle. When you're all done, you can take some plain old black acrylic paint and paint back over that, water it down by about 50%. You're gonna do about 4 or 5 coats and it should stay on there just fine, but you have to water it down. If you want to get carried away, you can buy Angelus paints and use them. But like I said, I do this professionally. I use plain old acrylics. Again, clean it till the dust stops. See? It looks a little nicer there, don't it? Let me show you the paint I use. Hang on just a second. Yes. All right. This stuff you can get at Hobby Lobby. You can get it at Walmart. All right. So this is the Folk Art. You can use Americana if you want. I like this one because it's a water-based enamel, and it's got this thing on here for glass. Don't listen to it. It tells lies. It's kind of glossy, kind of waterproof, kind of nice. I really like this acrylic. If you have to do stuff with black, it'll look really good on here when it's done. For those of you that want to see this whole saddle completed, you're welcome to follow my page, Diamond J&A Leatherworks. If you ever have any questions cleaning saddles, you'll make more money if you clean that dust off, folks. So many of your saddles I have seen up for sale, and I just look at them and go, wow, that could sell for so much more if it was clean. So I'll do a before and after, and you can see this one's pretty dusty and kind of unloved. So I'll answer any questions that you have. I'm gonna do another video here in just a few minutes on oiling these, because these saddles need love too. All right, good luck.